camera action. I want to make sure everything's all good here. Good lighting check. Not so good hairstyle. I'm doing a hot oil treatment, and I want everything to just like sink in so that my hair will be nice and moisturized, you know. Hello. My name is Kimberly Eleanor, and I am a mental health activist for those who don't know me. And today, as promised, I'm doing a video on depression in my own words, how I experience depression. So, for those who don't know what depression is a psychological illness that negatively affects how you think, feel, and how you act. In this video, I'm going to talk of 3 symptoms and say how I experience those symptoms. So the first symptom I'd like to talk about are feelings of guilt and hopelessness. So how I've experienced this is when I hit depression, which is when I hit rock bottom, I would feel like everything is my fault. Every argument I've ever had, every negative experience I've ever had, I would feel like even the mere condition that I am alive, like the mere fact that I'm alive, I should be guilty of. I would just feel guilty. Feelings of hopelessness and worthlessness is when you don't have any hope for the future, when you don't think anything of yourself 3 days from now, and when you quite frankly feel like the end is here. Hopelessness also manifests itself when you don't want to get out of bed because you don't have any hope for that specific day. You don't hope for anything, so you don't do anything. You don't get out of bed. All right, you don't prepare. You don't take care of yourself the way you should. You don't carry yourself. You don't offer the self-care that you need because, again, you don't matter because there is no hope. Feelings of guilt and hopelessness often then lead to one thing, and that is suicidal ideation. That is dangerous. If you know someone who's thinking of killing themselves or just looking for ways to kill themselves or is talking about killing themselves, then you need to alert a professional ASAP, and you need to be there for them. If you can't do it, then you need to rope in a professional as soon as possible. Suicidal ideation is basically when one is having the thought of killing themselves, one is thinking of killing themselves. Like in my case, I would be thinking of ways that I could kill myself. So this manifested when I was very, very young, and I think I was basically, how old was I? Maybe like 10 or 9 when I overdosed on pills. Like, they were a lot, and they were ibuprofens, and no one knew what had happened. So that's an example of what suicidal ideation can do to somebody. And as young as 10, I had the thought of, I want to die, which is definitely not normal because someone who's 10 isn't thinking of those things. They're thinking of playing, they're thinking of the next cartoon they're gonna watch, they're thinking of the next cute little outfit or whatever. They think of their mom and dad. They're not thinking about dying. They're thinking of becoming a lawyer, a doctor. Well, not a lawyer. Do 10-year-olds know that they're lawyers? Basically, that's the time when you have so much hope for the future, and like I said, you're thinking about being a pilot, you're thinking about being a businesswoman. I've always said that I wanted to be a businesswoman, but for that time I was indeed hopeless. Also had suicidal ideation up until in my early adulthood, and it's not so pretty. You're scared because obviously, let me tell you that someone who has suicidal ideation is not always really sure that they want to die. You want to end the thoughts in your brain. There's so many thoughts, there's so many voices in your head, and you are experiencing excruciating pain within you, and you just want it to end. All you want is the conflict in your brain to end. It literally feels like your brain's hurt. That is why somebody then thinks of taking their own life, not because they actually want to die. few people actually want to die, but they just want, like I said, the noise to just end. Next, the next point that I want to come up with is, what is it again? Oh yes, lack of focus, confusion, and forgetfulness. I want to say, unfortunately, I am still struggling with this up until today, because the effects of depression can take a significantly long time for them to completely disappear. So I am still struggling with it today. I forget a lot. In my past, like, or even now, like, I can put some my car keys like at a specific spot, and this is just maybe, if you ask me where the car keys are 5 minutes later, I can completely forget. If I just put them down on a specific spot and just leave that specific area, if you ask me later, I will just forget. And the other thing is, I can forget names. I forget people's names. It's so embarrassing, and it makes people feel like they're not important to me, and people don't like it at all, and people don't really understand. But I can forget people's names. Like, if I talk to you today and if you tell me your name, and even if I save your number, I will forget that I saved it. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does, manifest itself in that way. This is a problem, especially like when you're at work. Like for me, I'm a creditors clerk, so remembering figures and remembering exact events and stuff like that, it is very, very difficult, because like I said, you forget a lot. There's confusion. You're just confused because you have lack of focus in something that you're doing, not because you are trying to be silly or you're being ignorant, but because you're literally giving it your all to focus on this thing or this subject, but then you just can't bring yourself to do so, because there's just there's so much background noise. So background noise does not mean literally there's noise, but you just can't bring yourself to like focus on that one thing. Background noise is really just in your head, it's in your brain, it's nowhere else. You're the one who's thinking about so many things, and you can't control your rate of thought. So as a result, when someone is talking to you and they're trying to get you to get to a certain point within the conversation, you can't get there. You can't give them the response they need. I can't remember how many times, like, my best friend, she'd be talking to me, and then she would say something, and then I wouldn't reply the way she needed me to reply. Why? Because I don't know, I just shut off. It's like I've totally disregarded what somebody has said, and I have just chosen to just act like I'm listening when I'm not. And of course, it's not really the situation. And if you know somebody who really struggles with this, who you open up to and you expect a very meaningful response back, and they don't do that, they may just have the same problem. It's possible not everyone has depression, but statistics show that 1 in 15 adults, or 1 in 6 people are going to experience depression at any point in their life. Seriously, on the point of forgetfulness, I've forgotten anything and everything. Like, I can't remember how many times I remember I needed to get fuel from work, and the whole family was relying on me to do this, and I would just forget. Not because I'm ignorant or whatever, and I would freak out, and I'd be so upset because of this, and I would say, why don't people understand that I forget? But sometimes people just don't understand that you forget like that. Sometimes people think, well, you need to remember more, as if it's a switch, but sometimes it's actually a problem and it needs assistance. Thankfully today I'm doing some mental exercises. Thankfully there's so many apps that have this help for you. You can do a few mental exercises, and I am trying to write things down. That way, when I write things down or add it in my planner, my brain will remember more. It's like telling your brain twice and writing it on your brain, but then it's on a piece of paper. I don't know. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you can relate through maybe other people who you've actually seen that have a problem, because there's a difference between being just sad and actually being depressed. And bear in mind that there's so many events that can happen that can bring someone to some of the symptoms of depression, like the loss of a loved one, or getting fired from a job. So, but if those symptoms persist beyond 2 weeks, then it's something that one may want to look for, and it's consistent. Someone doesn't get out of bed um, on time or sleeps for more than 10 hours for 2 weeks, then that's something that you may want to look at. I'm Kimberly Eleanor, and I'm a mental health activist, and I enjoyed my time with you, and I can't wait for more videos like this.